What's up, guys? It's Benny. Yippee-ki-yay and yeehaw. Texas is being Texas again and acting like total badasses, cowboys, and outlaws. And it's just a beautiful thing to see. And it's also beautiful to see Jasmine Crockett lose her seat. Man, she is utterly insufferable. Her ghetto seat has been redistricted, and Jasmine Crockett warns that she may have to compete now. The reason she acts the way she does is that she's in a Democrat plus 30 district in the worst possible ghettos of Dallas, in a place where 90% of the constituents are on welfare. And so she's able to effectively act the part, but she's no longer able to code switch with this new map. Texas did something called redistricting, which is their constitutional right and obligation and mandate in order to ensure that the districts of Texas represent the people of Texas. And Texas sends way too many Democrats to Congress. That's because Democrats were able to browbeat weak, limp dick Republicans into giving them more congressional districts. And that ends now with this brand new map. And Texas, of course, is only one of the states doing this. Florida may well do this. Missouri may well do this, and a number of other red states. And so it's very good. It's smash mouth, and it's exactly the kind of game that Republicans should be playing. We wouldn't be in this problem with globalists and Marxists taking over everything if Republicans actually had a spine. But now that we do, it's beautiful to see. And Jasmine Crockett is losing her mind, talking about how the Anglo majority in Texas is getting rid of her district. The math ain't mathin'. Well, we finna see a brawl in the Texas House Legislature over this, because the Texas simp Democrats, represented by, I don't know, some guy that looks like he's a eunuch in a Joseph A. Banks ad. This guy announced that Texas Democrats have fled the state. They fled the state for Illinois. Why? Because they don't like gerrymandered districts. Make it make sense. This is Illinois. Anyway, J.B. Pritzker decided that he's going to eat all of the 30 House Democrats, and it was all a big scam. He just needed second breakfast in Chicago. Here we go. They will be in Chicago for a week-long plot against the GOP redistricting plan. They have to have something called quorum, which means they have to have a certain number of delegates in order to conduct business, and they took away the number of delegates. So Texas legislature has now ground to a halt, but they aren't going to take that quietly in the Lone Star State. Attorney General Ken Paxton immediately stated if they do this, they'll be arrested. Democrats in the State House try to run away like cowards, should be found, arrested, brought back to the Capitol immediately. And then he said that he can sick the Texas Rangers on them, bring back Chuck Norris out of retirement. Here's a photo from a local reporter of the jet they were using to flee on. And here are some of the insufferable videos of them fleeing. Of course, they're all civil rights heroes for doing this. This is the way that they fight. The way that they fight is to flee their state. What are these people? Who are these people? I'm fighting by fleeing. Okay, well, thank God the American military doesn't operate like that, or whatever. You know, like it's total cowardice, a bunch of dirty Marxists. And they're taking all these little suffragette photos on the jetway to this. Looked like a pretty big jet, pretty big plane. But see, they may have gotten themselves in trouble here. The Texas Democrats fled on a $47 million jet. We looked up the tail number and the log codes, and this jet is very pricey. In fact, it costs $17,000 per hour to operate. That's without overhead fees. That means the flight from Dallas to Chicago could cost nearly $100,000. Who the hell is paying for this? Texas Republicans need to launch an emergency investigation now. Okay, huge news. Also breaking, Texas governor decided to listen to me and is launching an investigation. Texas Governor Greg Abbott will remove from office Democrat lawmakers who fled Illinois to prevent a vote on redistricting today. He's given them a final warning. They have until 3 p.m. to return. The derelict Democrats House members must return to Texas and be in attendance when the House reconvenes at 3 p.m. on Monday, August 4th. That's today. For any member who fails to do so, I will invoke Texas Attorney General Opinion Number KP0382 to remove the missing Democrats from membership in the Texas State House. Abbott added that their actions may amount to felony bribery, right? So rich guy pays for this jet and then they leave? Yeah. For soliciting funds for their stunt, the clock is ticking. Whoo, baby. They are in big trouble. Here's the order right here. This is truancy ends now. The derelict Democrat House members must return to Texas by 3 o'clock today, any member who fails to do so, I will remove from the House. So they're going to lose their seats over this. What a absolute baller move. Seems to me that the only way some of these fleeing Democrats can avoid bribery charges is to not break quorum. It seems that they would eliminate any potential quid pro quo connection to any payment they received to deny quorum and skip the vote. This is a really big deal. Again, who's paying for this jet? Who's paying for this $100,000 trip just one way to Chicago? Who charters a jet? Governor Abbott should consider vacating the seats of all Democrats fleeing Texas State House in their attempt to deny quorum to avoid conducting legislative business by voting on the redistricting maps. First argument, abandonment of office under common law and Texas precedent. So this lawyer goes through all of the various articles in the Texas Constitution that would allow Greg Abbott to redistrict all of them and to just take away their seats, which would be amazing. Listen, you don't have to like what's happening in the House. There's tons of there are like 25 different states that are controlled by Democrats. Okay, 90% of the counties voted Republican in this country. A stat that I just learned: 90% of the counties in the country voted Republican. But there are states that are controlled by Democrats, generally through gerrymandering, and those states have Republicans who serve in the legislature too, and they probably don't like what happens. State of Oregon, for instance, right? We have a supermajority for Democrats. They don't like it when Oregon legalizes all drugs. But what do they do? Do they flee? Like, this is an insane thing that they just suddenly flee their duties. You're just going to normalize this. You just take off so the governing body can't function. How is that not an insurrection? How is that not seditious conspiracy? In case you don't follow Texas politics closely, this is an extraordinary statement by Governor Abbott. It's clear that President Trump has emboldened Republicans to the point that they are starting to have some testicular fortitude, saying that the AWOL Democrats will lose their seats. You have the Texas Constitution. We decided to go ahead and look it up, and it actually does give some pretty clear rights to the governor if there are members missing. Let's say, for instance, a member passes away, right, of natural causes. There has to be a mechanism in order for the body to move forward and legislate. The whole state can't just come to a standstill. If that's the case, Greg Abbott threatens to expel Texas Democrats at the word redistricting. I do find it I have been crying over this, that this is the state that Democrats decided to flee. This is the noble and beautiful state that Democrats decided to flee to. You see what's happening up here in Chicago? Chicago alone probably gives Democrats, the way that they've gerrymandered Chicago, gives Democrats probably an extra 10 seats in the House alone. But this is really important, by the way. The way that the drawn Democrat congressional map in Illinois overperforms in favor of Democrats by 30 points. 82% of the congressmen are Democrats versus 52% of the vote in 2024. So Trump got 48% of the vote, but 82% of the seats are Democrats. You understand? There's only a 7-point Republican advantage in Texas. So by every measure, it should actually be Illinois Democrats fleeing to Texas, or it should be the Illinois Republicans fleeing to Texas because it's a much more fair state. They picked the wrong state to do this, man. I'm telling you. It's going to be an interesting day. Let's see. Coming out shooting, man. We'll see. Texas shooting from the hip, and we'll see what happens. It's good to see Texas again. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe for more Democrats to be arrested. See you.